Friday night, I want a Chippy Tea. Chippy Tea, Chippy Tea, I want a Chippy Tea. Oh, you can give me posh, no, she don't agree with me. I don't want lobster thermidor with raspberry coulis. It's Friday night, I'm within me rights, I want a Chippy Tea.
Never don't mind.
I can actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's right way around.
Yeah, it's all right, yeah.
Episode 4.
Well, so is your silent background.
Oh, yeah.
Is that
No,
mirrored
I'm
for you?
blaring out. Huh?
Is that mirrored for you?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, well, do you know
Oh,
what?
it is, yeah.
Oh, we learn every day, don't we, Tony?
Fucking hell, Tony.
Right then.
Right, let's go.
32.
I would try and sort my hair out, but we haven't got fucking time.
Hit you with that intro, Tony P.
So, here we are again. Welcome to episode 32 of the Chippy Tea podcast. What is the Chippy Tea podcast? It is your chance, your opportunity, your chance to listen in to two northern blokes catching up about what happened this week. What did we do this week? It's loosely based around screen print, but there's absolutely no guarantee. It's me, Tony P from Palm Print, and Danny from
Flippy Sweet Print Co.
That were a bad introduction, that one. Sorry.
You sort of said half of it for me.
I know, yeah, I know. We sort of missed half of that, but we'll go for it. We'll make it up later, honest. So it's your opportunity to catch up with us as we have a little bit of a video call and find out what the hell happened this week. Where did we get to? What happened? Let's have a look back and discuss what we did on press, what happened in life, and what the hell's happening. Because most of the time, we ain't got a clue, have we, really, to be honest? So, we will, in true Chippy Tea podcast tradition, throw the first thing over to Danny. Because look at his little face, he's trying to act all confident. He's trying to put a big brave smile on and say that he's ready for it. But he's not really. Inside, a little bit of him's dying. So, Danny, come on. Step up to the mic and tell us, how has your week been? What has really stuck out to you this week?
Well, I'm going to tell you what I've been doing in a riddle. Riddle format. I'm going to play a game. Not really riddle.
Got a packet of crisps there. Bread
What
and
have I been
butter.
doing?
You've been doing bread and butter.
Bread and butter jobs. That's what I've been doing, Tony.
Oh
That's my
my
show and tell
God.
for you.
That's the preparation that goes into this. You've been to Big
I've been
Asda.
to the shop, haven't I? Been down Heron. Got myself some bread and Lurpak.
You've been to Erin.
Randy
You've
later.
got some bread and Lurpak.
And yeah, in a nutshell, that's what I've been doing. Bread and butter jobs. Not particularly exciting enough to do a show and tell on.
You know, before we actually do this, we have a little bit of a catch-up. And you never fucking said anything about that, did you? You just thought, I'll bring the bread and butter out later, that'll do it.
Bugface. Well, that would have spoiled the surprise, wouldn't it? Bugface.
Yeah. So, your bread and
yeah.
butter work. What's your bread and butter work? Tell me what. Describe bread and butter work really easily.
In a nutshell, smaller runs, 20 to 100 shirts, single colour jobs, just on the press, out the door. Nothing that is visually exciting, to be honest. Some single colour jobs are cool, but to show off on a podcast, I feel like it has to have some level of technical interest.
This is where I disagree with you. I love the bread and butter jobs. I love the single colour stuff. Like we said before, you know, some single colour stuff, especially sort of like navy on yellow and black, white on black. It can look simply awesome. And you know, for as much as we all want to do those sim process jobs, they don't really pay the bills.
They
don't really sort of, you know, give you the lifestyle you want. Look at you, living that dream lifestyle.
Living dream. I actually did see a picture. So, you know, when you go to Instagram and you can look at your old, put like on this day.
Yeah.
So there was one that popped up and it was on this day, 2016. And I was wrapping my old my old workhorse in cling film, and I could see the pallets and stuff, and I thought, as much as I sort of don't pat myself on the back or think about how far I've come, that reminded me, good God, I've come a long way since them days.
Absolutely, yeah. We forget sometimes.
You do forget, you do. And it's not even that long ago. What's 2016? It's like 7, 8 years ago, something like that. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a long time, is it?
No, it's not long at all, no.
Yeah, but... So, just single colour stuff, really. And I've got a couple of real exciting jobs to do. Yeah, probably Monday now. And that'll be a sim process that we just talked about, which won't make me any money, but I'll enjoy it. And this is the one I'm going to try push the boundaries. Well, not push the boundaries. Test myself on by bumping the LPI up. I've asked John to have a look at, do a bit of research on stochastic half tones. Yeah, I don't know if I've not heard. He's not given me any feedback yet, but maybe he's had a look. So yeah, we'll see. But that particular place that were doing it, they had the same equipment as me as far as pre-press goes. So
no reason
really,
why not. No reason why not whatsoever. No.
Yeah. Apart from I did it on auto, but I'll just push
they did
really
do
hard.
it on auto, but in my opinion, they did it on an auto that I've got to be really careful here. They did it on an auto that would limit their ability to produce good prints. So that's not. So yes, it was an old auto, but also it was one of those autos that's renowned for its ability to push a shitload of ink through a screen. So it's more
a real
hammers
it through, doesn't it?
You know what we're like. It were an M&R. So the M&Rs have been around for years, and they have a unique ability to be able to bend a squeegee in half.
Yeah.
So they have that power, that strength to push a lot of ink through a screen. Now, as with everything, what was it, an old tyre routine? Power is nothing without control or something. And, without the ability to be able to restrict that power, then, it's useless. But if they can achieve that print that I saw at 85 line count, stochastic, and get that sort of good result, then there's no reason why, anybody else can't do that. No reason at all why you can't do it on a manual. No reason why you can't do it on any machine.
Well, I'm going to try.
Well, we want to see the results.
Yeah, next episode, you may just very well see them. You might just see it. So, my question to you, Tony, is where are you? Where the hell are you now?
I have
I love
no
it,
idea.
Half the time. No idea. You just come off your jollies.
I'm like a littlest hobo. When you need me but no longer want me and all that shit. I am in Minnesota.
Minnesota?
So, Minnesota's North America. It is colder than hell. You've no idea how cold it is. So last week when we spoke, I was on my jollies in Hawaii. Temperature was high 20s, so about 26, 28. And then I got on a plane, and my next job was up in northern Minnesota. When I got off the plane, it was minus 25 Celsius.
I bet you didn't feel the benefit then, did you? Sure for me.
I had my big kite on and everything.
I bet they did. Big kite, some tights on, whole job.
Oh, big woolly hat, gloves, 3 coats, jacket, the whole thing. I got off the plane and sort of like, you get on the little airway. No, you don't actually, haven't, but you get on the little airway bridge and sort of like the open doors. And I went, oh God, that hurts. Oh God,
yeah,
that's really cold.
Jeez.
So yeah, it were a bit of a shock to the system, but I'm here
it
now. It
wasn't so bad if you'd have come from UK there, but you've come from super sunny and hot.
I was warm.
So even
I was
worse.
nice and warm and cosy. I had my board shorts and my flip flops on.
Oh God! So I bet you're not going for no runs around here.
Absolutely not. So my running coach says to me, "So what are we doing this week?" I said, "Whatever we're doing it inside."
Inside. Well, luckily for you, Tony, as it happens, Minnesota has more exercise facilities per capacity than any other state.
Are you reading something there?
No.
Yeah, and
That's
this
a fun
hotel,
fact, isn't it?
this hotel I'm in, it's got inside training. It's got a treadmill, so that was definitely getting some beating today.
Did you
But,
also
yeah.
know? Did you also know?
Go for it.
Minnesota has also been called the most hipster state, but Washington may have a thing or two to say about that. Fun, isn't it? So
It is.
fun, isn't it?
It is very
Full of hipsters.
artistic. Yeah, I think
Artistic.
that's probably the right word. It's
bit
a
like
sense of
Camden.
a bit like Camden, yeah, but a lot bigger, yeah. So the whole sort of like size, the size of Minnesota, I always say, because people say to me, "Oh, where are you from? Where are you from?" I'm from England. So the whole of England is around about the size of the whole of Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
So the
And that's
size
just a
wise,
state.
yeah, that's just one state inside America. So the scale of this place is huge.
It is,
Of
but
course,
it's very, very...
Minnesota's. If you're there with your Minnesota facts, who would be the most famous resident of Minnesota that you can sort of pull out of a hat?
Oh, shit, I didn't find that. See, what I actually did is I accidentally looked for Michigan. Because I knew it was an M.
Because it starts with M.
I knew it was M. So what I would have said, if he was in Michigan, was Henry Ford.
Okay.
But then I realised last minute when I saw your story on Instagram about half an hour ago, oh shit, it's in Minnesota. So I had to rush this. But I'll sprinkle some facts in.
Sprinkle some facts. We've got to mention Prince. So I'm a big Prince fan.
It's Prince from...
Prince is from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Actually, one of my first visits here. I found myself with nothing to do on a weekend, and this is not me at all. I'm not a big sort of person
and go.
to go around these sort of places, but I saw that this is where Prince used to live. His house is open to the public for tours.
Oh, wow.
Can I do it? Nah, surely not. So I actually did. I went round Prince's house and had a look round.
Wow.
There's a few. So I mean, Prince's. I've got a really strange musical taste. Prince, everything from Prince to Kylie Minogue, to be fair, and everything in between. And
Gosh.
and Prince was always been one of my sort of like favourites growing up, and especially when my daughter was born. You always look at what's number one when your kids are born, and it was Prince's first number one, and it was The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, and that was number one when my daughter was born. So for me, it all tied in nicely. Yeah.
Isn't that touching? And what was number one when you were born? Come on, you can't say everybody knows it.
Mungo Jerry in the summertime.
Was it actually?
Yeah.
Do you know what number one when I was born?
Go on.
Enya. What's that?
Orinoco Flow.
Yeah, Enya. That one number
You
one
just
when I was
made
born.
me feel really old. Because I can remember that song.
Yeah, fucking hell, it's horrible, isn't it? That's why.
That would have been what? Late 80s?
88.
God, I'd
November
already been
88.
working for 2 years when you were born.
Well, I think your screen print career is as old as me.
Started at 87, yeah.
Yeah, so even slightly older. Wow.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So you went to see Prince's house.
So I'm in Minnesota. Yeah, I did go see Prince's house, yeah.
Do you know what?
Because you want to go, I know you would want to see Graceland, wouldn't you?
That's exactly where I'm going.
Yeah,
that's what I'd want to do.
So this was my Graceland.
Yeah.
I've got no interest in Elvis whatsoever, and there'd be no point me going around his house. But this was my version of that, and it felt a bit strange. It did feel a bit strange getting shown around a dead guy's
strange
house.
bloke, isn't it?
Yeah, but you're getting showed around a dead guy's house by an 18-year-old who's probably never even heard his music, but knows the script perfect,
Right.
and got this big smiley face. And this is where Prince would do this, and this is where Prince would take a shit, and here is where he would wash his face. You know, it's a bit strange, but I did it. Done, finished.
I tell you what, the closest thing I can sort of, we went to Liverpool, and we went and saw John Paul, George and Ringo's house.
Yeah,
And actually, pulled up to John's house. Oh God, a bit of a shiver. It was weird.
really.
I went to the strawberry fields and all signs and stuff like that. And, but
I've walked round and I've seen some of the stuff. In that pub that they were in, but not on a tour, especially.
No, well, I grew up on Beatles, so for me it was like quite sentimental, I guess. It actually meant something. But if the people just live there, it's like walk past it every single day, but it's not to them. But
No.
so that's fun. So back to screen printing. It looks like you're in a very interesting setup, very interesting shop.
So this place I'm
Quite
in
unique.
now is called Print Local, Shop Local, Go Local. I can't remember what it's called, but it's one of those things. And I can remember setting this guy up last year, and the dream was to print for local businesses and also include the fact that where we are in Rochester in Minnesota, everybody's proud of their heritage, proud of where they are. Like you've just been mentioning, if you're from Liverpool, you print Liverpool stuff. If you're from Bridge, you print Whitby stuff.
Avoid it like with Blake. Just denied.
Yeah. So the guy wanted to highlight the fact where he was and what he was doing, and showcase printing local. And so he came up with a few designs, just generic designs, and sells them in the shop. And the front of his shop encourages people to just walk in and drop in with a nice couch and some old vintage arcade games, some Pac-Man and some.
It is very hipster, isn't it?
It is a little bit, yeah. And just as you walk through, there's all these clothes and everything, and then just in the background there's a dryer and a little print machine. He's got a manual. He doesn't use it much, and he's got an auto. And we set the auto up. A little X-Type, yeah. So we set the X-Type up, a little 6/8 X-Type, about as small as you can go.
I'm going to say that's as small.
It's about as small as you can go, yeah.
What footprint does that have? Is it like 4'5" or something? Not 4'5", sorry, 4.5 metre.
It's less than 4.5 metres, so probably around about 4 metres. So it's a nice small footprint. The dryer is not one of these big fancy dryers. The dryer is basically a flash unit over a conveyor belt. So it's like a quartz flash. So
I've seen that. Workhorse.
I think it's a workhorse. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
I've had a nose.
So, have you had a nose? You've been pausing and looking and looking and looking.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a nice little setup where you can see the shirts being printed, and I like that idea. It's not a closed shop. It's not a secret. It's not like a dark laboratory where we work and we make these magic shirts. Come and have a look. You want to see your shirt get printed? Come in, sit down, have a coffee, play the arcade game, and watch your shirt being printed. So yeah, I like it.
I actually had that set up on a manual, obviously, quite a few years ago. My last unit. So when I first got started, I obviously started in my spare room. Went to a small workshop unit, and then I moved in. Got a bit too big for my boots. Went to a big. It was sort of a retail unit.
Did you not go to your mum's back bedroom first? Because everybody goes to their mum's back bedroom, sure.
Well, that's where I started. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I started in my mum's back bedroom. Got this small little workshop, and then I moved into like a big retail space. And I had so you walked in, big glass front. Walked in, I had the whole floor done in AstroTurf, and I had like clothes around you and a big counter. And then behind the counter, you could see me printing and stuff like that. And I thought that was a great idea. And then I found more.
I agree, it's a great idea, but don't people get on your tits?
Well, this is exactly what happened. Honestly, I couldn't get a thing done, and it wasn't people walking in saying, "Can I have 100 shirts?" It were people saying, "Oh, I might get a shirt for my daughter's birthday, a shirt."
Yeah.
Or I had like local taxi drivers who came in just to have a chat with me.
For a warm. They came in for a warm.
I think it must have been, yeah. And I'm like, why? I'm busy, I've got stuff to do. But I was obviously too polite at the time to not sort of just chat. And I ended up, got to a certain point. I think what actually happened was, I had some sort of, I had a surgery. I smashed my nose up and I had a surgery. And I used that as an excuse to, I put like a notice on board saying, "Oh, I'm just recovering from surgery." Lock my door. And then it sort of just became habit after that. And I just left it locked. I use that as an excuse. And I kind of do the same thing now, to be fair. Now I'm in my dingy little workshop here. Yeah,
but you're up, aren't you? So if somebody comes at the door, you have to go down, don't you?
Yeah, I'd have to run downstairs. And so I just lock my door most of the time. Once my deliveries have been, locked door. But I prefer this quieter setup where nobody bothers me.
Yeah.
Just personally. But
you're just not a people person.
No, let's be honest, I'm not. I'm just not. And that's okay. Some people are, and some people aren't.
Yeah.
And I reckon if you are, and it depends on your business, doesn't it? Like if you're a single printer shop, a one-man shop.
Yeah.
Do you really want to be back and forth as customers are just browsing your stuff? You don't want to be stopping printing, you know what I mean? But if you've got a couple of spare hands, or if you've got somebody to sort of deal with that side, I mean, it's a great little idea.
Yeah. If not, they just get in the way, don't they?
Yeah. For me, that's what happened anyway. So he's putting
yeah,
on a little...
That's where I am. It's a nice little place. The guy's great. He set up last year. So I got brought in last year to basically, okay, we've done a bit of printing, we know what we're doing, but we're going to step it up. Like, we're going to times it by 100. We're going to put it onto an energy drink. Basically, we're going to give it some Lucozade, and and we're going to really fire it up.
How long has it been printing? So when you went in last year, was this him starting up from a blank canvas?
So he'd done a little bit. He'd done a little bit, but only a tiny, tiny little bit. And this side fascinates me a little bit. It's like, who had that idea to think that, okay, I'm making 50 quid a week. Maybe if I just think about, if I have to think about it, maybe 150 grand. If I sink 150 grand into this, maybe I can make 80 quid a week.
Wow.
Because the machine, the dryer, so he's got a carousel there, so a manual carousel. So the manual's there. And he said to me yesterday, he's selling the manual because he just doesn't touch it anymore.
And he uses it.
No, so no need. But, you know, the space, the staff, there were 3 staff there. The machine itself, he already had a dryer, but he had to buy a flash to go with the machine. And he bought a spider. So he bought a computer to screen. Well, that's, 60 grand. That's probably more than he paid for his machine, because he's only got a little press. And then all the background stuff that goes with it. You've got to put your hand in your pocket and step up a little bit. It is expensive, yeah. To print jobs that you've not really got. You haven't got a contract. You haven't got. You're just sort of like hoping that build it and they will come, sort of thing.
Well, you sort of do. You know what? That mindset is what I've been trying to do for quite a few years. I've sort of thought, I'm going to buy an auto and then I'll get the work in to keep it running. That's switched this year.
This is chicken and egg. This is the age-old question that people ask themselves over and over again. And I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't. There isn't a correct answer. Do you build up the product and then try and find a way of making it? Or do you buy a way of making it and then try and build a product? Which way round do you go?
Well, I've always done what have you just said? Buy all the equipment and then worry about getting the customers in. That's how I've always done it.
Yeah.
And I've had a mindset switch this year because I've been trying that for a long time and it's been unsuccessful. Because you know what? I'm always in that balance of overworked, making money, but I'm overworked and stressed. I can't keep up, and my turnaround times are getting longer and longer and longer, which has a detrimental effect on your customers because then they start getting a bit pissy. Or if I'm nice and relaxed and I'm printing at a comfortable pace, well, I'm not making any money. So my solution, and I just go back and forth, and I've done that for, I don't know, like past 5 years now. Every year, like, this is it, this is the year I'm getting an auto, this is the year. And at some point you've got to say, well, it's not working, try something new. Now, my attitude now is go back to working on the things behind the scenes, getting the business in, marketing, website, worrying about the business, how it runs, etc. Production, if I have to outsource stuff to get it done, even though I won't make a fraction of the money, do it. And I'm going to try that for this year.
So you're going to prioritise sales over production?
To an extent, yeah. I'm going to prioritise the business growth. Rather
than increasing your production and then going looking for sales, you're actually going to increase your sales and then try and find the capacity to fit the production.
I want to be in a level where by end of year, I've got sales in that are keeping that auto busy and paid for.
Yeah.
What auto? I've even got it.
I didn't see an auto.
Still waiting for MHM to give me one.
But keep mentioning it. Keep mentioning it. You never know. It's worked for other people.
Yeah, well, jam it gets. I don't even know what we're talking about. Anyway, let's not go down that rabbit hole. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
No, let's not. No.
Sorry, I sort of took that conversation. It was relevant to what you were saying.
No, that's exactly what I want to know.
Game plan.
That's exactly what I want to know. I want to know what's the right approach, because I don't think anybody that I speak to has got it right. The people who increase their production capacity and then try and look for sales, they believe they've done it wrong. The people who increase their sales and then look for production capacity, they think they've got it wrong. So, I don't think there is a good answer to it, if I'm honest.
I suppose
I think it comes down to personality. No, I think it comes down to personality. Are you a gambler? Do you like to play it safe? How do you play things? And I think if you're a bit of a gambler and you've got extreme confidence, then you'd build the production capacity, then look for the sales. Yeah. And if you're a bit more play it safe, Tony, then you probably build the sales and then try and find a solution to production capacity.
That's my new approach. New approach to it. So we'll see how that goes.
I think you're right. If I was going to do it, I think that's what I'd do. I'd try and increase the sales first. So I'd want to know that the money that I'm putting down on equipment I'm going to get my money back. I'm going to get a return on the investment.
Yeah, and also when you get that auto, when I jump from a manual to an auto, there's a learning curve that I've got to go through.
We used to say if, now you're saying when.
Well, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's good. It's all subconscious.
Manifest. You've got to manifest
I'm going to manifest that.
Manifest it.
Here he is a widow. You see, I definitely think almost a disbelief that it's out of reach has held me back. I actually think that is a real thing that is subconsciously somehow, as much as I can talk positive and I want it, and I have felt like, God, it's so far out of reach. I can't imagine how I'm going to get to this point to get an auto machine in and pay for it and keep it running, etc., etc. It felt out of belief. Maybe maybe even just after the Christmas break, when I sat down and planned things out and give it some proper thought, maybe it's switched. Maybe it's like, it is a case of when. And I feel like it is.
Good. Good feel.
But we'll see. It will be. So, I've been so what's right. So the first question we need to ask you is, what shitty job have they saved you? What are you printing that they can't be asked to do?
Actually, and I remember this from the first time I was here. They saved me a shitty job, and it was fucking horrendous. It was. I can never remember how to say this. So it's like a tartan plaid. It's
plaid.
I don't know, plaid, whatever. And it was this hash of red and white tartan. So up here, there's a local sort of myth hero sort of thing is Paul Bunyan. So stick that into your little Google search engine, do a little Paul Bunyan.
My research has been very lacking.
And he wore this checkered shirt, a red checkered shirt. And
like the
job they saved, like a lumberjack shirt, yeah. So the job they saved me was this underbased, really fine detail red checker. And it was a nightmare. And it was a test of the equipment they've bought, which was basically, I have to go in and prove that the salesman wasn't bullshitting.
Right.
So obviously the salesman's come in and said, oh, if you buy this spider and you buy this press, you'll never have to set up a job again in your life. Everything will line up perfectly every time and it'll all be superb, and you'll just throw this 3-colour job in, it'll be bang, 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 bang. So then I turn up and go, oh shit, what did the salesman say? Really? Okay, so, and we threw this job in, and it worked really well, and it went exceptionally well. And when I walked in, as I did my little walkthrough, I saw the shirts hung up, and I thought, oh shit, we're not doing those again. But actually, no, we didn't. No, he wanted to learn a little bit about water-based, so we had some. It wasn't Aquaflex, it was Willflex Aquarius.
Aquarius.
So Aquarius, high solid white. And the advice I gave him, which is advice I give a lot of people for water-based, is start with white. Just the white. Don't buy all the pigments. Don't buy the binder.
Yeah.
Don't do anything like that. Just get a tub of white and treat it like you would a plastisol white, apart from the cleanup. And basically play with it. Try and find out where you can be with the brightness, the opacity, the softness. And when I was there last time, we did actually do some white prints. Oh. Now, as is always the case, I'd forgotten this because I'd slept since then. And the guy says, I want to do some water-based. All right, well, we'll do some water-based white. He went, yeah, we did that when you were here last time. Look, I've got this shirt. And he showed me his shirt. It was cracked and flaky.
Bugger.
Shit. Oh, shit. So what did you do with that? He said, well, I've washed it a lot, but we put it through the dryer there and it were only in there for like 30 seconds. So maybe it should be in there longer. Like, it absolutely has to be in there for like a minute and a half or so.
Interesting point.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh crap! I told him water-based is really good, and his shirt he's got on, he's actually falling apart.
So somebody was asking me for tips on printing Aquaflex as a base and then putting plastisol on top.
Yeah,
and they mentioned that they've got an infrared dryer and they are curing shirts in 25 seconds.
Yeah,
25 seconds. Yeah. Well, that was my first thing I said. Like, times it by 4, at least. But it made me think, what do you think to this infrared dryer situation? Because I'd never heard of it, and I looked it up, and it's a Vastex, basically. And they've got these Vastex infrared dryers, which looks like quite a short tunnel, wide, but quite short. And I've never heard of the use of infrared to speed up curing. I don't know what that does.
So I had this, strangely, it's almost like we talk. So if you remember, if you can cast your mind back, I went to go do a problem job in America, sort of early December, where they were printing this new ink, which was the phthalate-free stuff, you know, the PVC-free stuff.
Brand unnamed.
No, we're not doing a brand name. So, and this guy has asked a question this week. So I've been looking around on the internet and stuff, and everybody says that infrared dryers are really good for water-based. Is this true? Oh, my initial reaction was no. No, it's not. Well, everybody's telling me that infrared and water-based work really well together. Am I missing something here? Forced air is the best dryer for water-based.
Yeah, that's what I've always
forced
understood.
hot air. Infrared is proper old technology of basically a flash unit over a belt.
I want to say, yeah. Like my old BBC flash drive, that was infrared.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
It was like a black surface underneath.
It's a black surface with a heated element in it, which just hits off shortwave infrared heat. Yeah. And for years, that was the way that we would flash and dry. So the original big dryers for water-based were just that times 1,000. So they were like 20 feet of heat. Feet is a measurement they use over here instead of fingers. Been here too long.
Quite proud of yourself.
I've been here too long. So back in the early days, in the late 80s when I first started, the infrared dryers were just lots and lots of flash units over a metal belt, not a fabric belt, a metal belt.
Jesus.
That would go like an escalator, so it would go around the corner like that.
God.
And they would catch fire quite easily as well. But
I bet, yeah.
They were just basically exposed to infrared for as long as possible. And the flash units were like your BBC unit, you know, they were just a heating element inside cement, and they just emitted this shortwave heat. And when I first bought my automatic press, my MHM, believe it or not, One of the massive things that impressed me about the machine, apart from all the singing and dancing that the press did, were the flashes. The flashes were made by a company called Calmat, who no longer trade. They got bought out by MHM, believe it or not. And they had these lamps inside made of quartz, and they had a flat ribbon, and this flat ribbon emitted medium wave heat rather than short wave heat. No, I didn't have a clue. What's the difference? Heat's heat, surely. Put your hand on it, it burns. Simple as that. Touchy, touchy, burny, burny. And what I found was, oh my God, what a massive difference away from infrared this was, because the light, the heat, seemed to target the ink and not the shirt. So it was almost impossible to burn a shirt with these lamps, but you could cure the ink really easily. So the medium wave quartz light soon became the flash of choice because it didn't target the shirt.
Interesting.
The heat was of such a frequent, because we've got like short wave, little waves. We've got medium wave that. We've got long wave, which is huge like this, which is great for people who are trying to listen on Spotify. It's me waving my hands about like a lunatic. But what happened was when we hit this medium wave frequency, those waves passed through the fabric and didn't burn the fabric, but they really smacked onto the ink straight away. And to this day, like with fast forward 30 years, there are people trying to make flash units who do it as cheaply as possible. And so they have these lamps that are like a pig's tail. They're really curly lamps. Yeah. But they go back to the same sort of frequency as the infrared panels. And they will burn the fabric at the same time as hitting the ink.
That's what mine's got in, little pigtail things. Because when you were describing it, I thought actually mine were quartz. But you're saying it was like a ribbon.
It's a ribbon lamp, yeah.
Mine sort of like twists. Like
so one of the main problems. So yours is like a floodlight.
Yeah, they look like little quartz. They look like quartz bulb strips.
Yeah, they are quartz bulb strips. When I think about
the element inside, it's like
the pigtail. So if one of those breaks, and they do break, then you're looking at maybe 50 quid to replace it. Yeah. Which seems like a lot. But if one of these ribbon lamps breaks, it's 350 quid.
Oh, wow. God.
So they're filled with a gas. They're a thin ribbon strip, and we point the ribbon to be facing down. And if it breaks, it's like 350 quid. So one of the downsides to people, me trying to tell people that, well, you need to get one of these fucking lamps. They're awesome. They don't burn the shirt, but they cure the ink. But if it breaks, it's 350 quid.
So the technology is better, but it just costs more to produce, and it costs more to upkeep over the years.
So a typical flash unit for a press would be around about $4,000.
Yeah.
So
like
same size as what you've got behind you there, and be about $4,000.
Yeah.
And people would say, but the bulbs are 350 quid. Yeah, but actually, they don't break. What do you mean, cost to break? No. In normal use, they don't break. The only reason they break is the big, soft, soggy human touching them, or the big, soft, soggy human taking them out and putting them down on a roll of tape.
God.
I can famously remember the company you like in Sheffield, that one.
Oh, yeah.
They said to me, come down, Tony, have a look at this. And I'm looking. So we're going to get a technician out, an engineer. So what for? We need to move the flash from that head to that head. Well, you don't need a technician to do that. They're designed to sit in any head. Really? Yeah, of course they are. Oh, we're going to get a technician. No, don't get. Come on, we'll do it now. Me and you will do it. Are you sure? Yeah, me and you will do it. So we're lifting the head, putting it in, and as I put it in, I broke 2 bulbs. 700 quid straight away.
Wow.
Oh, Christ. No. Just human error, just soggy human error.
Just life in it sometimes.
But yeah, the infrared is a bit of a sledgehammer to crack a nut. Yes, it works, but it's so fierce, so intense that you have to now use your printer skill really to be able to just control that amount of heat.
I wonder if your mate at... Oh, shit, I forgot my name. Your mate who made my flash dryer. I wonder if he would retrofit.
Ricardo Ecosgraph. Yeah.
That's the one. I wonder if he has flash dryers with those.
He listens, by the way.
pots.
He does listen.
I know.
So, big shout out to Ricardo at Ecosgraph. Makes some absolutely superb machinery. Hi, Ricardo.
I hear he makes a really good washout move.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we should have a sort of maybe, if only we knew like a local printer who makes lots of screens who could maybe test his washout booth. Is anybody near? Oh, it's maybe in the north of England somewhere. We could maybe test it out and give a real life review.
Products. Hey, I tell you, that flash dryer is fantastic.
See, now you're getting into it. Now you see how people make a living out of this, don't you? Yeah, you soon jumped onto that.
We're bloody money hungry scoundrels.
You're doing right. You do right. I think it'd be a good testing ground. I think it'd be a good testing ground for a reclaim unit that actually works.
And you know, actually, this is funny because I have got a note here on my pretend notes that I don't actually have.
It just said episode 32. That's all it said.
Yeah, these are my notes. You think I'm looking at anyway? One of the things that has bugged me this week is, you know what? It's something I wanted to do over Christmas. But I also had a really long list of things I wanted to do over Christmas, and it was one of those I didn't get around to doing. I want to strip that screen room, my dark room, my screen goblin dungeon, strip it, and I need to improve the efficiency of that room. I need to be 4 times more efficient compared to what I am now. It's taking way too long to wash screens. And it's a big hold up for me. I'm not stood on that press every single day printing because half a week I might be washing bloody screens or waiting for them to dry, etc., etc. So something I have been thinking about this week is ripping it out, starting from scratch, better layout, and then thinking about what upgrades I need to on a budget. Obviously, I'm not going to go get a car wash in there straight away, but just little things to try and get. I need
what's in your head,
double
then?
Efficiency.
What's in your head to improve that processing? Because I'm going to guess here, because I don't know. You've got dip tank, jet wash, washout booth.
Yeah. So
how can you improve that?
My first step is to double up on each of those items, apart from power wash. So I want 2 booths, one for dirty side, one for exposing. Not exposing. Washout.
Developing and degreasing.
Yeah, developing, degreasing, dirty. So dirty side to a room, clean side to a room.
Totally agree with that. 100%. One should be illuminated, so the developing one should have a backlight.
Should be illuminated, yeah.
And the other one is just a swamp, a nasty chemical pit where superheroes are born out of. It should be one of them. Yeah,
I'm considering using. So my initial thought is to use 2 dip tanks. So I do actually do this anyway, but so I have a dip tank which is a combination ink and emulsion stripper, and then I have a dip tank with plain water. But the dip tanks, it's not actually it's just a bucket. It's actually a bottle bank wheelie bin that you see in pubs. I just put it.
Yeah.
It's not a great way of doing it because the sort of bow and bend and the more water you put in. I actually don't know what to say when I go from something very nice. Anyway, so I'm going to get a proper dip tank. I will think about getting a 3rd dip tank. So we have 2 chemicals. We have a designated emulsion stripper dip tank.
Yeah.
And then ink softener dip tank. So I guess you would have your ink softener dip tank. First step. So obviously you card out all your ink, you scrub it down, dip it.
Solvent. So just solvent. So an ink degrader, if you like.
Yeah, because obviously you get the excess off, and then what my current process is, get all the excess ink off, and then I would put it into the 2-in-1. And what that does, it softens the emulsion, but it does bugger all to ink. It does absolutely nothing. And I guess, as you sort of described, the 2 chemicals have fought each other, and the emulsion stripper's won in the end.
Yeah.
and I've paid all this money for a combination chemical. It don't really work. It only does one of the jobs. So I'm thinking a designated chemical for each would be more effective at the jobs. So I'm actually thinking 3 dip tanks. Whether that's a good idea or not, it's just something that's rattling around my little brain.
Well, I can't give you any advice for a change.
I don't think I've seen anybody do that.
I don't see that at all anywhere. I've not seen that anywhere. But the logic is sound. And
Makes
do you
sense,
know what?
doesn't
I'd be really interested to know if it works. Because if it works, could we automate that?
Yeah, well, so you have like an arm that goes. Well, I guess.
Yeah,
You have
exactly.
an arm that dips and then power washes, and then dips and power washes. Maybe.
And I'd love to see whether that actually works or not. Because if that works, I'm down for that straight away. You know, the logic of it sounds great. The reason we don't sort of do it at the minute is because we don't want that cross-contamination. So we don't want to pull out of one tank and put in the other. So you'd have to pull out of the solvent tank, power wash.
Yeah.
Dip into the emulsion remover tank, power wash. And then probably another power wash right at the end. So, I like the idea of it. There are lots of people trying to solve this problem at the minute. I don't think anybody really has.
No. Well, even the guy, I mean, speaking to somebody who's got a car wash, and even he's gone back to the power wash situation, I just don't care what anybody says. The screen room is a slow. It's just not a. I don't think anybody's come up with a really good solution to really zip through screens.
I don't know. So I go to a place that there's a place in this same state that I'm in now, and it's one of the biggest shops I've ever been in. They have over 50 presses. And they make 2,500 screens every 24 hours. And I've been in this place, and I'm like a kid in a candy shop taking pictures and videos and shit.
Yeah.
And they have that process down nailed. They've probably put more effort and investment into that process than the actual pushing the ink through the holes and printing teas. But one thing I did notice, although it worked, and it worked very well, it was really heavy on labour. There were 7 guys in there constantly working these 2 machines. And even then, right at the end, there's a little power wash to make sure that all the stuff's spotlessly clean.
Yeah.
But they had nailed it. Now, what would be interesting, and it's a question I didn't ask, is how much do you spend a week on chemicals?
Yeah. And actually, didn't Bryce bring up in one of the comments about he replaces? So he's got
his chemicals on a Monday morning. Yeah. He's got
one of the chemicals.
He's got a Zentner. So he's got a Zentner 3-chamber, I think it is. So yeah, he said he replaced the chemicals on a Monday morning. Was it?
Yeah, I don't think it's all of them, but I think there's one. I don't know if it was the ink remover. He replaces that, and he says it's cheap enough that it's worth doing. So he has fresh, once a week he'll have a fresh, I guess, ink remover. Yeah. I'd have to go back and double check. But it says it's way cheaper than just allowing it to sort of contaminate itself and be ineffective at its job, which obviously is. It makes sense, doesn't it?
I think it's right. I'm going to check now what he just actually said, actually. And yeah, a few thousand screens. Chamber 2 every week and start fresh every Monday. Because they changed Chamber 2. So Chamber 1 is ink removal. Chamber 2 is stencil removal. So he changes his stencil remover chemical every Monday morning. Now, that's a great idea.
When you think about it, that is the one that would get contaminated.
Yeah, and it's a great idea, and that's the one where you're going to see the failure.
Yeah.
I mean, poor Bryce, sorry about this. We're sort of discussing you without even speaking to you. I'd love to know how much that cost, because I think that cost is high. My perception is that cost is high. Although what it's describing, that is the cheapest chemical out of the two. The ink degrader is the most expensive chemical, and the stencil remover, because it's a concentrate, is quite easily could be the cheapest chemical. But I still think that's a lot of chemical to throw away. Maybe that's the Yorkshire in me. I don't like throwing shit away. It's like the dip tank. We only change it when a superhero's born out of the sludge out of the bomb. So maybe that is a really good sort of tip, is to be brave, be bold, throw the shit away. In my head, I've got about 250 quid's worth of chemicals in that chamber. In my head. So am I brave enough to throw 250 quid away every week? No, I'm not. I'm going to try and get another week out of it.
Well, yeah, you're always going to be tempted, aren't you? I don't know. Depends what you're putting out, doesn't it? Like 250 quid to me is like, good God, don't make no money. Well, like to some shops that are putting out a ton of production.
No, my issue is I have to be careful what I say. I could pay a car wash guy. The guys that wash your car?
Yeah.
I could pay one of those to sit there with a jet wash all day, 250 quid all week, and he'll clean the screens better than any machine ever.
Yeah, true.
So if I'm going to throw 250 quid a week away on chemicals, I'd rather throw it away on a wage, on a salary, and pay somebody.
Well, if they do a better job, yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's a debate, isn't it? It's going to go on for until somebody invents a machine I've just come up with. And I'll take one for free as royalties.
You might be getting a delivery soon.
Well,
let's see you get it up them steps.
Oh no! No. My washroom is downstairs and across, so it's all good.
All right, so you got space for an ACOS graph machine then.
Yeah. I tell you what, look good as well. Flipping sweet, sponsored by ACOS graph. On that back wall. Did I make autos?
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting. Right, I'm going for a wee, Tony. I can't hold it any longer. I'll go for a wee. You
go for a wee. I'll open this curtain.
Put my jacket on for continuity. Bloody freezing.
That's exactly the pattern that I was printing.
Yeah, lumberjack.
Have you looked at...
Shit, what's he called?
Paul Bunyan.
Got my Paul Bunyan jacket on.
There you go. It's some sort of local hero. I don't know why or what it is, but he's some sort of local hero.
Not all heroes wear capes. Some of them wear flannel jackets.
It's a flannel jacket, and I think he kills bears with his bare hands and stuff. You know what I mean?
Bloody hell!
I don't know.
Here's a fun story for you.
Go on.
Mike Tyson once heard of there was like a bear in a zoo, and this bear was bullying all the other bears. So Mike Tyson offered to pay the zoo like a couple of million quid to let him in the cage and let him have a fight with this bully bear. Fun fact.
So I've heard that myth, but in my head it was a gorilla.
Oh, yeah, it might have been a gorilla, actually. Yeah. Oh, yeah, so you're right, it was a gorilla. Oh, fuck's sake. Right, we'll cut that out then. Anyway, it's the same thing, isn't it?
For continuity, I've now got an open window behind me and you've now got a jacket on.
Yeah, well. So, here's a question that'll stump you.
Go for it.
What do you call that?
Well, I can't see.
Hang on, I've cut off my effort screen so I can't see if you can see that.
It's your like bingo wing.
No, not my bingo wing. Like this bit here.
The inside of your elbow.
Oh, interesting. So you didn't say the elbow. Because it's weird, isn't it?
That's your elbow. That's your elbow.
Exactly.
That's the inside of
your elbow. That's your elbow. Oh, the inside of your elbow. Yeah, just sounds weird, doesn't it?
It's your
So I'm having a
joint.
bit of a pain. I was having a bit of a pain there, and I said, "Oh, my elbow's aching." I said, "You fucking elbow." But that's
Do you know
your elbow,
what?
isn't it?
I had no idea where that were going. I thought that were a technical screen print question because you've been asked to print on the inside elbow of a sleeve, but no, it's you just thinking you're falling
No,
apart.
no.
You're off to
Just been
doctors with an,
plaguing me.
an imaginary pain that you've got.
That's just been plaguing me all week, is that?
That's
the
why
type of things
people.
I think about.
That's why we could never sell this product as a podcast. We have to give it away because nobody'd ever pay for that.
Well, I'll bring it back down to earth. Let's bring it back down.
Okay, so if you're asked to
I'd
print
tip.
there, what would you use to describe the word if you're asked to print there?
Well, I don't know if this is the mystery that's been plaguing me all week. It just doesn't sound right. Because every body part's got a name, hasn't it? Fingers, elbow, wrist. You don't say inside your elbow. That's not a body part, is it? That's a describing.
You're a weirdo.
Stumped you, that, isn't it?
That's going to get me all day. We're going to have a coffee now.
You'll get a coffee on that bombshell.
Inside elbow. I'm going to Google it.
I bet, yeah.
Just like you
I should've
Googled
done
Minnesota, I'm going to Google that.
that. Would you like another fun Minnesota fact?
Go for it.
The ginormous mall shopping centre, whatever you call it,
Yeah, it's a mall.
houses an indoor amusement park called Nickelodeon Universe,
Yep.
as well as the Sea Life Minnesota Aquarium.
Yep, I've been there.
Have you? I'm going to say you're going to go visit them.
I've been a few times, and so imagine Meadow Hall.
Meadow Hall. Yeah, Meadow Hall. It is actually a bit rough, isn't it?
Imagine
An
that.
experience.
Times it by, I would say, 5.
Oh, wow. That's a
So
big
this is the
old
world's
shopping centre.
biggest shopping mall.
Oh, is it the world's
Inside,
biggest?
yeah, in the middle of this shopping mall is Alton Towers.
Flip it, heck.
You've got no idea of the size of this place. It's everything that I hate about everything.
It is my idea of hell, to be fair.
I'm a typical bloke. If I've got to go shopping, I've got a map, a route. I know exactly which shop I'm going to go into. I'm not going to go into a shop that I'm not going to buy anything from. Heaven forbid why would I do that. So I go, I buy the product, and I leave. So
Yeah.
this place is like, it's like my idea of hell. You know, it's like, what the hell? Why would you come here? So
Yeah.
a fun story. I came here with a guy called Craig Longman, does absolutely superb videos. He's a printer. He used to be a printer. I've never told the Craig story on here.
No.
So Craig was a printer down in Margate, Bluebird Press, and
Oh, I remember them. They've
Yeah.
gone, haven't they?
yeah, they've gone. Yeah,
Bluebird. Yeah.
Bluebird Press. Craig is a character and a half, and for all that he tried and all that he did, he was a crap printer, which is not very good. But you know what he was really, really good at? Making videos,
Oh, wow. Cool.
taking photos and doing videos. So it took a long, long time for us to persuade Craig, look, pack this
I'll be
printing
honoured.
back in and sell all your gear. So what he did, he sold all his gear and bought some video equipment. And now he makes a full living as a videographer. And
Yep.
he's very good. In fact, 2 days ago, he sent me a little link. He's just done a full video with Russell Kane,
Oh, wow.
comedian.
Heck.
And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
awesome.
Debatable, but yeah.
And he does lots of stuff. He's got a drone license and pilot license to do drones and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's really, really good. Anyway, but Craig inside is a small boy. And he's got kids. And we're walking around the Mall of America. And he's like,
So hang on. How the hell have you both happened to be in Minnesota at the same time?
he was doing
bit-
the videos for the installs of new machines that I was doing.
Oh, I get you.
So
right,
we were
that
both
makes
here
sense.
together for 2
Right.
weeks. I was in Craig's company for 2 weeks. We could have a full
Right.
episode on Craig, by the way. I hope he never listens. But no, I don't mind. He
I'd like
does.
to.
He
Bluebird
does.
Press are one of those businesses that when I got started, I sort of looked at as, for inspiration, like looking at the website, looking at what they do with Instagram and stuff like that.
He's very good on social media. He's very good on video and putting stuff across. He wasn't very good at printing and embroidering, but that didn't stop him. But
Don't stop a lot of people.
Craig is a character that I can't describe. I could have 4 or 5 episodes on Craig, and you will be crying. Because I spent 2 weeks over here with him. It's his first ever visit abroad, first ever visit to America. And we went to the Mall of America. And he was like a kid in a sweet shop. He was just looking all over. And he didn't have much money, but he wanted to go on every ride. You know, it's like taking a kid round. And he's got 2 young kids. In fact, his daughter had just been born about 2 weeks old when he came over here. And he's walking around. He's like, "Oh, Paw Patrol." I have no idea what you mean. Paw Patrol. I'm a grown man. I don't know what you're talking about, Craig. Paw Patrol. Paw Patrol are here. I want my picture with Paw Patrol. So here's a grown-ass man queuing up in the line with the kids to have his picture taken with Paw Patrol. Wow. And he stood in line getting really excited and giddy. and he made me video it, and I'll send you the video. And he's sort of like, video it. Is this for you or for your kid? Yes, for my kid. No, it's for me. I'm Paw Patrol. And he knew the names and everything, and he's shaking the hands. And I'll never forget the woman in the line, in the queue, her face. So she was in charge of lining the kids up and telling them when it's their turn to walk forward, have a picture taken, shake the hand of the puppet and go. And she got to Craig, and she looked at Craig, and she looked
Where's
down,
your kid?
and there's no kid with him. He's like, "No, it's me." And she's like, "Really?" "Yeah, it's just me. Come on, hold my bag." Takes his bag off, holds his bag, and he's there like, "It's Paw Patrol."
God.
Honestly, I could have days and days on Craig, telling the Craig story. So me and you will have to, I'll tell you the Craig story.
We'll do a Craig special.
We'll do the Craig special, yeah. We ended up calling him Junior. In America, they love him over it. It's the sort of personality that you can't make up. He'll go and talk to anybody.
Yeah.
But that was a downside, because he'd just disappear. I'm like, "Where's he gone?" He's going talking to Paw Patrol. Or has he gone for his haircut? What do you mean he's gone for his haircut? He's just
Could have been a
disappeared,
leash
gone for his haircut.
couldn't you?
Yeah. It was like, we called him Junior because I was like his dad. I kept losing him. Where's my kid? Where's he gone?
Bloody hell.
I lost him in a 35,000 square foot empty room, and I lost him. So, a very, very quick story. 35,000 square foot. So I'm there planning out a production area for a new build. So the guy, it's just a pure concrete floor with posts in. There's nothing there. It's an empty room, 35,000 square foot. It's massive. It's like a stadium. And Craig's with me, and I looked at him, he's gone. He can't have gone. Where is he? There's no way. He can't have disappeared.
He's on fucking roof.
You know them scissor lifts? He's 25 foot up. Craig, what are you doing?
Oh, God.
How did you get up there? Oh, I just need a good picture. Your camera's down here. You didn't take your camera up with you. No, it's good, this, isn't it?
God.
And he's driving it around. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, that's a whole episode on Craig.
He doesn't sound like the type of person who should be running a print shop, to be fair.
No, he's very, very good at what he does now. He's excellent at what he does, bless him. And I'm so happy that he's found what he's good at and he's doing it.
True calling.
His true calling. Yeah. He wasn't a screen print and embroiderer. I went... Again, we won't concentrate on Craig. But I went down when I first started doing this, and I was working for...
Chippy.
You got to go?
I know it looks a bit awkward getting in here, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know, you can squashed in.
I brought my stool early today, so I've got this other stool. It's really short, so I've put 3 weight plates down. I mean, I've balanced the stool on top just so that I don't... Otherwise, my head would be here on the podcast. But because it's on plates, I can't, move in and out. So I have to, breathe right in to get in. Right, you want to tell
a very,
me?
very, very quick Craig story. It was when I first started doing this consulting thing, I was working for MHM Direct, and he asked me to go down and see if I could help him with anything. So Craig knew I was coming and everything, but obviously wasn't there when I turned up. And when he finally turned up, he's got this baby in his arms, like 6-month-old baby. I'm like, I thought we were going to do some printing. Yeah, we'll be all right. This is his first baby, and I knew Craig was just a little bit wild. And he just drops the baby down and goes off and does something. Attention span of like a 4-year-old. Like, Craig, you've left your boy. You've left your small boy. Yeah, he'll be all right, won't he? No, he's playing with fire extinguishers and, he's putting his hand in an embroidery machine. I'm like, no. So I ended up building a box of empty Gildan boxes and penning this kid in so he couldn't actually start touching stuff. But Craig, we'll have to do this another day when you've not got the kid. How come you've got the kid? Oh, yeah, I forgot. It's my turn today.
You see,
his wife, Heather, honestly, she deserves a medal like this big, like a dustbin lid. Because I say to her, she's bringing up 3 kids. She says, no, I've only got 2. So now you've got 2 and Craig.
Yeah. I've got this... I've actually wrote it down. And I'm half sure I've got frigging ADHD because I tend to go from project to project and, this will fix something. And then having to listen to those stories, I think I've changed my mind, actually. I think I'm all right. I think I'm pretty normal now.
I'll introduce you to Craig. It's an experience.
It sounds all right, actually. It sounds like
he's a really, really good guy. But after 2 weeks, I spent 2 weeks in close captivity with him, and I could have killed him.
Yeah. Well, you can get people like that who are super nice.
All right, in small doses.
You love them to bits, but you need a break, don't you, after a while?
Yeah.
That was fun. So, would you like to hear another Danny's top tip?
Go for it. We'll go back to screen.
Yeah. I discovered this. So I printed some white shirts, black print on white shirts. Couldn't get any simpler. And for some unknown, bizarre reason, 2 out of 200 came out with scorch marks, and it was very random. It was right in the middle of the run, which I've not seen in a long time. My dryer's set, and it's pretty much never gets touched. So I think it was just like a rogue wind or something that went through. And what I did is I replaced the shirts and reprinted them. But anyway, out of curiosity, I was looking, and I discovered there is actually... So if you mix hydrogen peroxide with water in a spray bottle, spray it on your shirt with scorch marks, send it back through dryer, apparently it removes the scorch, but it doesn't affect the ink.
Yeah.
You
can buy it in a bottle called Stain Devil.
Yeah, you can get it pre-made, but essentially
it is hydrogen peroxide, which is like a bleaching agent. It's what you put on your teeth to make them white.
Yeah, we can get it from chemists or something, can't you?
Yeah, so it is like a bleaching agent, so it does work. Obviously, on other shirts it doesn't work as well because it removes the colour. But on white shirts, it absolutely works. And what you will find is it wasn't your dryer and it wasn't a rogue wind. And I've had this before. It's the garment.
Well, they were shit garments. I won't say what they were shit.
It's the bleach that they use in the garment to make it white.
Oh, right.
So if they don't remove all that bleach after they've made it white, then that can scorch in the dryer. This once drove me crazy a few years ago now, and I thought it was the dryer. I thought I couldn't work it out why only the mediums were scorching.
Oh, wow, yeah, that makes...
All the other sizes didn't scorch, but the mediums scorched. So I broke it down, and eventually we worked out it was the bleaching agent used in white shirts that reacted to heat. So it wasn't the shirt that was scorching, it was the bleaching agent that was scorching. And did get a refund from the shirt company.
Yeah. Well, this particular shirt, I'm half tempted to just ban in this shop.
Is it a Gildan?
Yeah.
So my story is also a Gildan.
Well, that's good news.
And I'm going back 2005.
It was Gildan heavy.
Yeah.
Do you know when you get bands who just are adamant they want them on Gildan Heavies or Fruit at Lube or whatever?
When they tell you.
To me.
Yeah. They tell you what
please
to
listen.
do. Yeah.
I might put a cross mark on it. They're actually getting rid of some. I like the Gildan Premiums. I don't mind that shirt at all. I like that shirt. They're getting rid of it. That was the good one.
Yeah.
Why get rid of that one?
I don't see Gildan as much over here. AS Colour is big over here.
Well, I was speaking to a fellow in Australia, as you well know, and it's like AS Colour is almost their Gildan.
But Joel at PSI?
No. It was Sam at Ministry of Shirts.
All right.
It was a guy who I did the podcast with. And because in Australia, apparently we don't have we have like a Rallywise or a Pen Carry or BTC or whatever, and we can get all those brands from distributors. They don't. They have to go to manufacturers direct. And so AS Colour is almost like their go-to garment over there. It's like standard. It's like our Gildan.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, it's a bit more. I think it's becoming quite popular now, but it was almost a bit of a specialist shirt when it first came about.
Yeah.
You sort of ordered it if you knew. You know what I mean? If you knew, you knew. But I'm an AS Colour fan.
Yeah, they're quite big over here. I see them a lot. I printed on them yesterday. So I was yesterday on my sort of teachings were all about minimums. You know, we had a white flash white print, and this white flash white print was big open area, but it was like a cartoon drawing, so there was lots and lots of detail in it. And here we had the ultimate sort of enigma, the puzzle. So I want opacity, but I also want detail. So what mesh count do I want? So if we looked at the detail, the mesh count was a 230, a 90. But if we're printing white, I don't want to use a 90. So I want to use I want to use a 43 or a 55. And so we played with, what's the best compromise here? What are we willing to sacrifice to keep the detail? Well, we're going to have to sacrifice opacity or power. And so we went for a 156, which is close to a 62.
So why don't you just run it round again and give it an extra flash?
There was 213 pieces.
Right.
So at 213 pieces, it's worth making a screen. This is the old age question. At what number of pieces is it worth making a second screen? So it takes 6 minutes to print 100 shirts on these presses.
Yeah.
So therefore, if I send it round twice, it's going to take me 12 minutes. Yeah? Makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but if I make another screen, I can do the whole thing in 6 minutes. So where's the dividing line? So 50 pieces, I'll send it round twice. 75 pieces, I'll probably make 2 screens. 100 pieces, I'll make 2 screens. And I put this poll out on Instagram about 2 years ago. Where's your line? What's the number, the magic number where you go, make 2 screens? Now, it's different for you because it makes no difference to you. You'd never make 2 screens. But on an auto, the answer I got ranged from 25 pieces to 200 pieces. Nobody gave me the same answer. It's all personal preference.
Well, it's your shop capacity or your shop production levels. It's going to be dependent on what you are putting out, really, your output.
So my argument was no, that's not right. If we've got everything dialed in, so my job is dialing pre-pressing. It's not about how much time it takes on press. It's about how much time we take before, and we try and get everything out. I famously say my study of 100 pieces was I can do 4 jobs an hour of 100 pieces.
Yeah.
So each job takes me 15 minutes. We break that job down. I've got 9 minutes of prep and 6 minutes of print.
Yeah.
So there's no point me trying to work really hard to reduce that 6 minutes of printing down to 5.5 minutes. There's not enough gain there. But what I can do is do lots of prep and forward thinking and reduce that 9 minutes down to 6 and save maybe 30% of my time. Just by having some prep. So this guy where I am has got a Spider. The Spider's got pre-reg. The MHM's got pre-reg. It's got the pens on. So there is no reason why I can't just take a screen, clip it in, press print.
No,
I shouldn't have to line anything up. Should be no lining up to do it all. I've spent $60,000 over here for a spider, so I've spent $60,000 on a pre-reg system.
So is this not happening?
I want the fucking thing to work. It didn't work.
So is it?
No, it didn't work.
Ah, right.
It does now.
Was that? Oh, yeah, of course. So was that just a problem solving where, I don't know, the studs were loose, or was it something like that, something insignificant?
There are three different ways where it can go wrong. Number one's artwork. If you don't get the templates right in the artwork, it can be off there. Yeah. Number two is the actual imaging of the screen. So if we get technical for a little bit, if we're writing the image onto a screen and we want the image to drop in the same place every time, then we have to think of the screen as a piece of paper that we're printing onto a piece of paper. For me to get the image in the same place every time, I have to start from zero. So I have to have a set of coordinates where a constant is zero. So bottom left-hand corner is normally zero. So if the bottom left-hand corner is 0, and I always put my image 10 across and 20 up every time, then I know where I'm good. But then I have to take that same ratio, that same formula, and apply it to my press. So when I go to my press, I have to have a 0, something that never changes, a solid point, not a movable point. So I have to image from the solid point, and I have to set my press to the solid point. So imagine on your press, the solid point is always the screen resting on the back and onto the left-hand side. So once you know that's set and it never moves, then you can count from that side. So one of the problems with this setup originally, when I was here last year, was the press was using the bottom left-hand corner as 0, but the spider was using the top right-hand corner as 0. So we had two different constants. So we solved that problem. So again, that could be an issue somewhere. And then we have so artwork, imaging, and actual press. If we've got an old-fashioned printer, telling them not to look through the mesh when they set up is so alien to them. They can't actually do it. They have to look. They have to check because they don't believe this press is as good as them. Yeah. So what we end up doing then is we set all the heads to 0 properly, correctly, with microscopes and everything. And then the printer comes along and moves everything because he thinks he's right. So then everything comes out and it's off. And we end up chasing our tail then. So it's a matter of resetting everything, making sure that the artwork's good, making sure that the spider's good, and then make sure the press is good. And that's what we did. We set up one job as a white flash white, the one that I'm talking about, with high detail. And the press was off a little bit. It was maybe 0.5 mm off. So we set it, and what they call over here a cunter.
They must call it that everywhere you go.
And we set it, and then when we did the other side, the back, we threw the screens in, did a sample, bingo, straight off. So the changeover time we got down to 3 minutes. And it was maybe an hour and a half. So we took it from an hour and a half.
That's a hell of a jump, isn't it?
Chasing registration, sample print after sample print after sample print after sample print. And we got down to 3 minutes. It's just a matter of trusting the system. Click, click, go. We did the exhibition in Long Beach last week. Seems like about 4 years ago.
3 minutes, something, wasn't it?
And we did 5 changeovers a day.
Swap overs.
5 live changeovers. 2 8-colour jobs, a 4-colour job, and 2 5-colour jobs. And we did those changeovers in less than 3 minutes.
God.
Live in front of everybody criticising us. And we just go, shall we change the job over? Do we have? Yeah, okay, let's change the job over. Click the screens out, put them into the rack, take the new screens out, click them in, press sample, go. And now I don't know of any press anywhere in the world that will allow you to do that. So although this is a bit of a sort of advertisement for MHM, the pin system, when it's dialed in and when it's dialed to a CTS, it's just a game changer for small runs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where you'd look at a job at 6 colours and go, I'm not setting a fucking 6 colour job up for 20 pieces. I'm going to spend more time chasing the register than I'm going to. You once told me.
Yeah.
You once told me you spent a full weekend chasing a 6 colour
did.
reg job.
That fucking.
Imagine that if I said to you, all right, click that 6 colour job in there, it's now 8 o'clock.
Start printing.
By 3 minutes past 8, we're going to be printing.
I would probably chop an arm off. I'm going to say something else, but I'd probably chop an arm off. I mean, I won't be much good at printing, but I still want to look at that DIY using that MHM system with bumpers
Pre-reg
on a manual.
Yeah,
That's on my list. I've not forgot about that.
My issue with that is the
bumpers.
open clamp system, so you'd have to take a pallet off.
A pallet off? What, to put the pallet off? Why?
You'd have to use...
To put a jig on?
Yeah, you'd have to use a jig. Because you've got an open clamp system at the sides, so finding a solid point is going to be really difficult. You need a constant.
Centre. Anyway, I'll think about this.
Yeah,
I still think I think there's a way to do it. I was thinking about something else as well. It's another invention that I would like, and it sort of exists, but I've never seen it on a manual. Why the hell has nobody invented like a heat press that hovers over a pallet that, with a foot pedal, just stamps the pallet, only light, but just stamps it, just to smooth it?
Stampinator.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. It exists on an auto.
Yeah, and
but surely that software, we could
Pro
do
Iron,
software
hot heads,
equipment.
they all work. Yeah, the problem being you need some support underneath the arm.
Well, if you've got this is going to be controversial. If you've got an an M&R, they're quite flexible, you know. The cruisers and the side. I don't know what sidewinder, but
if you're serious about it, you wouldn't have a cruiser, would you? Really, if you're serious about screen printing, you wouldn't.
It's just a fucking
Heat press onto a manual.
Oh yeah, so I had to go on an M&R, probably a cruiser or a side. I don't know if it was a cruiser, and I was so surprised at how flexible the print arms are. So
they're
when you
supposed
put your
to be.
screen down, well, they're not. No, but
it's called pallet deflection. It's a real thing called pallet deflection.
Right. Yeah, deflection. That's the word I was looking for.
Pallet deflection.
Yeah, and it does move a fair old chunk. I came from an old workhorse, which was like a fucking tank. That thing, I could sit on that, I could bounce on it, we're going nowhere. And the same with this. But that sidewinder, it did move a bit.
It does, yeah.
If you were struggling to push ink through a 90, you couldn't put much welly into it at all.
No.
Because you go out of edge.
Pallet deflection was a real thing. Back in the day, the pallets used to sit on an arm, on a rail.
Yeah.
So as they'd come round the corner in the old ovals, the front of the pallet sat on a rail. So as it came round, it hit the rail, and then there's no way you could get pallet deflection.
Yeah.
When they went to this open carousel, circular octopus design, then we lost the rail. And when we lost the rail, we did get some pallet deflection. And the only solution is a solid build. So the original, sort of the early M&Rs would lift the pallet to the screen using air. And then we'd use air to push down. And what we'd get is we'd get a little bit of compression of that air cylinder.
Yeah.
So just squashing the air.
Middle
so we get a little bit of pallet deflection, not from the actual bending of the pallet, but from the squashing of the air cylinder.
Oh, right.
So
that sort of stabilised it.
Well, for me, that's a bad design. That's a design flaw. So I would much rather bring the screen down to the solid pallet, and then there's no chance of any air squashing, which is the MHM, Anatole, all those sort of areas.
See, Rock's the same. I don't think they moved to I think the screen's...
No, the screen comes down. It's on a pivot, like that.
Yeah, so I've seen them on Anatole systems like that as well. So to me, that worries me, because one of the things that bugs me about a manual is that.
Yeah.
I would sooner something just come down completely...
Straight on a shaft.
Parallel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So MHM come down on a 4-shaft system like that. Straight up, straight down.
We've tended to rate chuffing salesmen here, haven't we?
I know, yeah.
We don't know, but slag off everybody apart from MHM and AS Colour. Other brands
this week's
available.
podcast is sponsored by Acosgraph and MHM.
Acosgraph, actually. Hey, want it be lovely, that. How long have we been running? 1 hour 51. We've had a good natter, haven't we?
We've had a good natter. It's getting to that time where I need to put some pants on and go to work. So
Get us into work.
it is 8:15 in the morning here. I know you're in the afternoon at some point, aren't you? We're getting closer. We're not as far apart now.
2:15.
We're not as far apart now.
It's been a nice, smooth episode, hasn't it?
Yeah.
No disconnects. Quality's been good.
The quality is awesome. You've not gone blurry or faded or anything this episode. So I'm back in my favourite hotel, if we can say that, Hilton's, and the internet is really, really good.
Is the Hilton owned by Paris Hilton?
Yes, just her on her own.
All right.
No, it's not. I think it's German. I think it's a German company.
Oh, is it? I thought it was a dad.
Yeah. So, with it being 8:15, it's time for me to put some big boy pants on and go to work. It's time for you to have another energy drink and finish off.
Hey, I'm off those energy drinks.
Good for you.
It's been like 5 days.
Good for you.
Cleaned.
Clean.
This is why I'm falling asleep.
So all that remains now is to sign off the Chippy Tea podcast. You have been watching, you have been listening to me, Tony P from Palm Print, and
Danny D from Flipper Sweep Co.
I feel like everything's good in the world. I feel good. Everything's good in the world now. We fucked up at the beginning. And
what a weight off my shoulders.
I feel like we've put that right now, because that just didn't sit right at all.
Try.
You've been listening to us rattle on over what on earth we've been doing this week, and if you like what you hear, don't forget to press the like button, press the subscribe button, leave a comment, do something that alerts that big algorithm in the sky that's always watching, and it makes us feel nice and warm and good inside as well. To know that that people actually enjoy listening to two Northerners rattle on about screen printing.
I mean, they listen. Do they enjoy it?
We'll just go for listen to start with. We'll work on enjoy later.
Is it like, it's a bit like one of those shows where it's going to be like You Been Framed or Beatles About, where people would fall over and we'd all laugh at it. I feel like it's a bit like that.
Yeah.
People are just laughing at us falling over ourselves. And
Probably.
it's out of pity.
I'll take that.
It's all views in it, don't it?
It is. It's all views. It all counts. Yeah. So all that remains is to say thank you, and with a signature properly done, the way that it should be said is I'll see thee.
I'll see thee. See you next week, old cock.
There you go. I'll see thee.
All best.
Friday night, I'm within me rights. I want a Chippy Tea.